book nerds, we are back with another live session featuring another awesome author. This weekend has been all about some amazing best-selling authors, and we have with us Miss Stuti Changle, who is an amazing new author on the horizon. And I'm not just saying it, okay? She is just that. Uh, she's going to talk about, and we are going to talk about this book right here. It's called You Only Live Once. And the title is so simple, but it echoes with so many people, especially in our country. And of course, she's also the author of this one, On the Open Road. On the Open Road. You know, this is what started everything, right? Right, Stuti? And
Yes.
now this one is out and by an amazing publisher. Shout out to them for providing us with this book and the amazing author. Thank you so much for being in India. And yeah, I'm so excited about it. It says here, one for passion, two for love, three for friendship.
Yes.
It's such a very, I would say, very simple thing to say, but it echoes with so many people across the country, especially the youth, and maybe some middle-aged people like me.
Don't call yourself middle-aged. You're still young at heart.
Goodness. So, I'm super stoked about this session. I really wanted to speak to you because it has been an amazing journey. I was going through your website, and first of all, let me compliment you on your website, okay? Not many people do it well. You have done it superbly. I don't know
Thank you.
who manages it. You do your own thing. I don't know what it is, but it is so simple and informative at the same in the same place. I loved it, first of all, and we will discuss, of course, that it is so important to do that. But before that, let's talk about the book, first of all.
Right.
It is based in Goa, and I
Yes.
told you before the live stream that I hate you for that because now I really want to go to Goa right away. And these are three characters, which are in Goa, of course, and destiny brings them there. They are Alara, Arav, and Ricky. And Ricky, of course, is primarily from Goa. And the story is so millennial in its treatment. Tell us a little bit about the book and then we'll delve into other things first. And
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rohan, for such a lovely introduction. It's always a pleasure coming and talking to you. We're doing this live for the first time, but I have known Rohan for quite some time. We've spoken over phone, and he's always been a sweetheart. So thank you so much for the lovely introduction. Now, starting with the book. So, my new book, You Only Live Once, is a story which is very millennial, as how Rohan puts it forward. At the same time, it's a story about searching for love and finding yourself. Because the three characters in this story are looking for the fourth character, who's Alicia, and who's had some impact in their lives. Now, what that impact is something for you to actually read and find out. But there's a reason why they're looking for her, and the whole search eventually ends up in such a way that, whether they find or Alicia or not, you would know in the end of the book, but they do end up finding themselves because of this journey of transformation that they take. So the book is fiction, it is a story, it has suspense, everything, but in the end it gives you hope, it gives you a reason to live. And that's the reason the name of the book is You Only Live Once.
wonderful. And my first impressions, like when the book starts, I mean, we are introduced to Alara, and she's a singer-songwriter, and
Right.
she has started to do well on YouTube. She is the
Yes.
budding star, and there's so many kids and youth, especially out there, who want to become just like her. But she has got more than that. She is
Yes.
searching for someone, and she wants to go to India, Goa. To do that, I won't be giving too many spoilers in this stream. Be rest assured, guys, because you have to pick up the book to be honest. But we'll talk about certain things. So tell us about Alara. Is she your favorite out of the three, or what's happening there?
All right. So the question that is she my favorite? See, it's like asking your mother which kid do you like the most,
Okay.
and generally it's the eldest kid that the mother likes. So,
Yes. True.
so Ricky is my favorite here. But Alara is again a very special character and she's very close to my heart. Now I'll tell you, Rohan, why.
Yeah.
When a writer writes fictions, especially in my case, whether the story is entirely fiction,
Yeah.
I get so many things in there just to pique the interest of readers.
Yeah.
The experiences that I write about from any character's point of view are very personal. They are generally things that have actually happened to me, and I'm that kind of a writer. So
Oh,
I'm telling you that while I say it's fiction, 80% of what I write about, and especially when it's an experience, it is something that I have gone through.
right.
Alara, I feel, is me back in 2017. I was someone who was looking for some answers in my life. I was someone who was a little lost. I was someone who had this aspiration of doing something, but she had no idea what's going to happen in the end of 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And Alara is in that way very special and very close to my heart because I see a reflection of my past self. But when I say Ricky is my favorite, it is because the kind of positivity, the kind of vibes, the kind of character that Ricky is, I think I have grown up to become that person. And
Okay.
so, if I have to see myself right now, there's a lot more of Ricky that I see in me.
Okay.
But you always love your past self because that eventually helped you become your present self.
Right.
And that's the reason all the characters are close to my heart and they are me at different junctures, struggling with different things.
Okay. You writers are very, cunning in that way. You you just played with me because I was wondering who are all these people, and it's you. I mean, it's brilliant. Thank you so much for that. And I believe since Ricky is at ease with himself, although a little bit in a bit of turmoil internally,
Yes.
but he's kind of at ease with himself.
Yes.
So I can relate to that. I mean, I understand what you're talking about. So I come to page 6 on the book, and those who already have the book, they can, just read it from there.
Like I
Uh,
have my copy, so I'll go to
or-
page number 6.
you say that I'm not close to anyone at home. Not really. I'm close to my guitar. It's because it always meets my expectations. People, they often fail to do so. Unfulfilled expectations lead to unfulfilled relationships. It can apply to many things in life,
Right.
not only about the guitar. Please take us through about, while you were writing this, what was your thought process, what were you thinking, and is there a lot of this seems like there's a lot between the lines, so
So the line which says, I'm not close to anyone at home, here I want to focus on the fact that while a lot of us have a structure, we have a family, we live in together,
yeah.
sometimes if there's no openness, in dialogue, and if you're not comfortable in sharing what's going within us,
Yeah.
we might find that they are there, but, you're not really close to anyone, as in you
Right.
can't speak to anyone about what you have. But she says, I'm close to my guitar. It's because it always meets my expectations. Now, I figured out this thing, which the book also says, one for passion. So, the number one thing in life is your work, your passion. If that gives you a sense of fulfillment, nothing like that. And here, since this passion or work is not a person, it will always fulfill your expectations. So if you set some milestones for yourself, like in this case, the girl sets the milestone of completing, the finishing her album,
Yeah.
she can do it if
Right.
she wants to, if she really wants to. But when she says people, they often fail to do so, and unfulfilled expectations lead to unfulfilled relationships. Here, she's focusing on the fact that she has a broken family, the fact that her father had left her mother when she was very young, the fact that, no matter what she does, she can't change it.
Yeah.
So here, there's helplessness of the character when it comes to relationships, but there's hope when it comes to her work. So in a way, I think life is all about how you look at it. It's the perspective. While something in your life might not be going the best, there still would be something that you can do something about, change it, and become the best version of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the thing which is in between the lines, which it doesn't really directly say, but then this is something that I meant to convey through these lines.
Yeah. Tell me something. I mean, you have based this, I mean, at least in the beginning, we are in Czech, right? And then
Yes.
then we travel to India, Goa. Why Czech, first of all? There must be some specific reason. And you travel a lot, I believe, whatever I notice
Yes.
on social media. And you travel a lot. So, what was the reason behind Czech? Because it's not common.
Yeah, it's not common. So like Rohan had already mentioned earlier, that I generally like to talk about things that I have been through when it's about the experiences. Especially if I write about the place as well, I want to be there. I would have gone to that place. Like, I have not been to Scotland so far. So for me, it's very difficult to imagine what Scotland looks like, stuff like that. I had actually been to Czech, one
Okay.
of the 13 countries that I've been to apart from India.
Okay.
And there was something about it. I love the city. I wanted to write about it.
Okay.
But again, especially Czech, because the story, the way it moves, that the father moves on and he ends up marrying another woman,
Yeah.
is very common in
Right.
those areas. So I also do a little bit of demographics research, and I figured out that it's very common for people from Asian countries or somewhere else to actually go down to Eastern Europe, settle with
Right.
another wife or another lady. And I thought it just brings everything into context. It doesn't it And plus the fact that she would be in a different country, so when she comes to a newer country, the whole mystery around Alicia can be built. If
Yeah.
she was in the same country, then why such long wait? Why she did not start searching her mother earlier?
Yeah.
So that whole divide between Europe and India,
Yeah.
which is seas, the sea which divides,
Yes.
was also a plot point, and it was a specific reason that I chose Czech for these two reasons. And then she comes back, and again, Czech being a country that I've already been to, I
Yeah.
have traveled to Prague, and I thought that I can maybe write about it.
Right.
And
It's
that's the reason.
interesting. It's interesting because the old school writers have always said that we can travel to anywhere, and it's not necessary that we should have been there or would have been there. It's a different kind of take by especially contemporary writers like yourself. So, what do you feel? What would be the difference if it was not the case? Maybe somebody can't travel and they really
Hmm.
want to write about Prague, say. So, because I mean, how do they do it? It must be tough, right?
See, you need to have a reaction to everything. Every action must have a reaction. Now, when I am at a place, I am talking to people around, there's a certain perspective which is very personal, which gets built. Now, if I've not really been to that place, then getting under the skin of that culture and bringing in my own perspective would be a little difficult. So I think I can write a book which talks about some culinary art, that यहाँ पे ऐसे खाना बनता है, this is how they do,
Right.
maybe a non-fiction or something, because I've
Right.
read a lot of research papers and I've put it together.
Yeah.
But I think especially fiction, and the kind of fiction that I am writing, where I want to talk from the character's perspective,
Right.
the depth, the third dimension can only be brought in when the character's experiences, they mix with
Right.
the real time experiences that the character is having. So I mean, all due respect for everyone who's able to do that, it is amazing. But I think in my case, I have kept it this way specifically because I want to bring in that 3D perspective.
Right. So I feel that to each his own, perhaps.
Yes.
Uh, Also, let's talk about Arav because we totally forgot about him.
Yes.
I feel that everybody forgets about him because after reading the book, anyways. So this guy Arav is is in a corporate job and wants to be a stand-up comic and is trying hard.
Yes.
Also, just like all Indians, he has suffered in love. So all that is happening. Why this combination of traits that you gave to Arav? Why were they important for him?
Right. So, when I was thinking about what has to be the crux or the soul of my book, I asked myself a question, that can your biggest weakness be turned into your strength?
Okay.
And I spoke to people about it. And a lot of people told me that no, weaknesses are weaknesses. They can never become your strength. You need to work hard on them. You need to get better. That typical line of thought. And I thought that, when I look at from my perspective, so many people, creative people, especially authors like me, singers, stand-up comedians,
Yeah.
they are using stage as a medium to get their vulnerability exposed, and they are also getting a lot of likes and love in return. So
Yeah.
in some cases, your weakness might become your strength. And in this case, Arav, who's going through a heartbreak, and he feels that he cannot do anything in his life because his heart is broken now, everything is gone, he focuses on bringing that experience on stage, and that vulnerability for him becomes the strength.
Yeah.
So that's a specific reason I chose Arab, and that's a specific. Again, there was another dilemma that I see a lot of millennials go through.
Yeah.
That, if we are in a corporate job, do we have to quit it entirely to start up something new? And I always tell them that no, you can also do it on the weekend. See how this thing is working out for you, because in the end the truth is that one need to pay their bills and you need to make money, right? So maybe you can do a moderate mix of both, and once you see that your passion is aligning in a way where you're able to make good money out of it, then why not go ahead and pursue it full time? So again, this dilemma is brought to life through Arab and his journey, where he is at a bank. I have been at a bank. I worked with HSBC,
Oh,
and
goodness.
again, Arab is me
I
back
did,
in 2015.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So it's all you. Okay, now and now I can relate. But I didn't know that you have worked at HSBC. But I can understand now how what is happening. The universe, the Stuti universe. I can peep into it a little bit more. Tell me about this chapter and this kind of progression, writing progression that you have kept up even on the first book, which we won't be talking about in detail.
Right.
This kind of progression, you have named this chapter, and the location,
Yes.
and this is
Yes.
very kind of Tarantino like, if I can say, if I may say that, it's very contemporary. I loved it, to be honest. And because it gives me perspective while reading.
Yes.
I It breaks a little bit of momentum, but I like that on this book because it was that kind of book. And also, why did you do it? And this Long Island iced tea thing, this is just amazing. Okay? You have to life is like a Long Island iced tea. Tell us more about that.
Which page is this one? Life is more like a
Yeah. This is 40, 43, 43.
Okay. Perfect. So I'm here. So first, let me tell you about this whole typeset, why this is in a particular way. So I always, as an author, wanted that, the way I typeset my book, or the way it is done from the interior, has something which is not common. Like when someone picks up the book, even if they are having poha on this somewhere
Right.
down the line,
Right.
maybe 10 years down the line, when they look at the page, they have some
Yeah.
sense of recollection that, maybe this is that author I've read. Ye Stuti ki book ka page
This
lagta hai.
is this is your kind of signature. That
Yeah,
this
this
is
is the kind of thing that I want to do, and this is why you have noticed, I mean, amazing that on in the first book and in the second book it's like this.
yeah.
Again, I mention the date, the place, everything, because sometimes on the same date different characters are at different places,
Oh yes.
and what they are doing sort of aligns in the end of the book, and it's for people to actually read between the lines and understand. In one of the books, the cubicle number of the girl is the same as the airplane seat number of the guy. They are at the same time, but I mean, this is
Wow.
something that I do.
No, this is that's why I said, are you a fan of Tarantino or something? Because I
I
have noticed this happening in so many movies of his, and I'm sorry, I'm digressing. But this is the
Right.
kind of structure I love personally. It's just a personal thing. Nothing against any of the readers out there. It's very personal, and I loved it because when Alara is somewhere in Czech, Arav is somewhere in India. I loved it basically. So when it all comes together,
Yes.
it's wonderful. Tell us about the Long Island tea thing.
Okay, the Long Island iced tea. So, life is like a Long Island iced tea. It's a mix of golden from rum and the dark from Coke. And to live life fully, you must cherish it all, right?
Actually, I wanted to stop reading the book right here because I had like everything from here. Like that's it. That's it. That's all I needed today. Right.
So again, I think that the universe gives us cues in things that it has.
Yeah.
Even a cocktail that somebody made long back in Long Island, somewhere in the USA,
Yeah.
is a mix of a dark thing and a light thing. And everything in this universe is like a positive, negative, is like a balance, so you can't just expect everything to be good. And again, because this chapter is introducing Goa to readers, I thought that why not introduce it with a cocktail? Why not make that cocktail something, something that resonates with life,
Yeah.
since you only live once. Everything is giving you a cue about how things are in life.
Yeah.
And then take them on this journey. And a lot of people tell me that, after that Long Island iced tea, we are like, abhi book chhod ke thoda, let me go to the somewhere and come back and then
Yes.
resume reading it.
No, that I think that was a good choice to introduce Goa, because most Indians, they usually when they order something, it's that only,
Right.
so that's one name every Indian knows now. So that I think that would relate to a lot
Plus,
of people.
plus this chapter is from Ricky's perspective, and he's a Goan.
Yes.
He was a Goan. He was on the ship for a long time. He comes back and he sets up his own shack. So I've spoken to a lot of shack owners in Goa actually.
Okay.
And Ricky also has a lot of flavors from what all I got to know. So they would tell me that when the European tourists come, we do this, we do that. And Ricky is a complex mix of those characters that I also met.
Right.
So
Right.
they would always talk about they would always talk about LIIT or any cocktail. Russians to yahi lete hain. They're like, Europeans to yahi lete hain. So I thought that a shack owner's flavor is incomplete
True.
until and unless he talks about a cocktail.
True. I was about to come to Ricky, and great segue into that, because this guy who has worked in the merchant navy for 20 odd years, he has got the money now, and he has set up a shack. Uh, of course, Elisha is there. I mean, he is again. You talk about unrequited love in this
Yes.
chapter, especially on page 49, and the assistant in at his shack, Sheen, is always teasing him about this,
Yes.
about unrequited love, and what
Right.
um, it's a thing which resonates with a lot of people throughout their lives, and some are destroyed by it, and some take it in their stride and
Yes.
move on in life. Since it's all about Stuti, this book, I mean, indirectly, how do you write about unrequited love? Because it's a very tough topic which has been taken up by many writers in
Hmm.
different books and even other formats. How do you write about it?
I think it's a little difficult, even writing about it today, because even if I am writing about something that happened 3 years back,
Yeah.
when I write about it, I get back all those feelings. They come back to me no
Oh,
matter where I am. And I think, so in this case, especially the one that I have written about, this was long back. Like, I felt something of this sort maybe 8 to 10 years back.
okay.
And it was really old. So for me to even evoke those feelings back and write about it was a little hard, to be honest. But
Yeah.
after writing it, when I was rereading it, I started crying, which is very funny.
Goodness. And you can imagine what happened to me when I was reading it. So
See, I think we've all had that one love or one interest, person of interest in our
I'll
lifetimes,
have more.
that no more than one, minimum one is what I'm saying, at
Minimum one.
least one, at
Yes.
least one person that we knew that no matter how hard we tried,
Yeah.
things would never align, the stars would never align, and it's not possible. But what can you do? One is obviously you can cry that this did not work out, oh my god, my life isn't, and you will do it for some time, which is completely fine. I say you cry. I have always endorsed crying in my books. I'm like, you cry, because I have also mentioned somewhere that shedding tears is like a release for your
Yeah,
body.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
go
remember
ahead.
that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it.
And you release it, you don't keep it within you. But when you want to move on, you will have to pick up those broken pieces and you will have to build a life. And if you can do it in a positive way, like how this guy does,
Yeah.
he picks up those things, he speaks about it on the stage, and people relate with it because everyone has been through it. We are all humans, we're all the same, we've
Yeah.
all been through it.
Yeah.
And he finds his audience there. So it's okay. Maybe that unrequited love happened in his life only because he had to be a stand-up comedian maybe some years down the line.
Right.
There is always cause and effect. I always believe that everything that we're doing in the past, like you just showed my book, In 2017, I had no idea where this book is going to take me or whether this book made any sense. But when I connect the dots now with this book and all this happening, penguin coming into the picture, I see that it all makes sense because it's cause and effect.
Yes, since you talked about it, before I go to my next question, let's talk about Penguin because this book. Not many people know that You Only Live Once was released in 2020, if I'm not
Yes.
wrong, and it was done by yours truly, and then it sold a lot of copies. Can you mention the numbers for the wannabe and would-be writer?
I individually sold 13,000 plus copies.
13,000 copies. It's not a joke. In these times, in 2020, I won't ask you in detail how you did it because it must be a trade secret. And you write about it on
No,
your blog also.
I have written a blog about it. It's no
Ah,
more a secret.
so I read the blog. I read the blog very quickly. How did
Yes.
you do it? Just in a couple of lines, and tell us about how Penguin came into the picture and what happened then.
All right. So we are back in, I'm taking you back in time in February 2020 exactly. And this is the time when I had already finished my book. I was back from Goa after doing my final edit and everything.
Yeah.
And I wanted to publish it. Now I had two options. Either I could wait for 2 to 3 years, write to publishers, not hear from them, which happened in my first book's case as well. Or second, go ahead on my own, publish it. I, spoke to a couple of friends, my family, and they were all like, "You have a very entrepreneurial bend of mind. Stuti to kar legi. Don't tension mat le itna. Chill. Just go ahead, publish it. You will sell it."
Who are those people? Send them to me also. Please do that. Send
I
them to
am
all
blessed, yaar.
entrepreneurs.
I have very encouraging friends and family. So they're like,
Wow.
"You will be able to do it. You do it. We know you write well." I'm like, "ठीक है, इन लोगों ने बोल दिया, कर लेते हैं."
Wow.
And I published my book in
Please
2020 और
adopt me
lockdown हो गया.
also. Those people who are listening and are encouraging, please adopt me. Good.
And then lockdown ho gaya.
Right.
So I released my book. We did a little book launch. We sold a few books, maybe 250, 300 books. And after that, in March, it all shut down. The great lockdown of 2020 began.
Yes.
And in the lockdown, I had no idea what's going to happen once the market opens and everything. But much to my surprise, when finally the market opened, I don't know, maybe it was being at the right place at the right time. Sometimes in life, things just align.
Yeah.
People started ordering a lot of books because of the lockdown, the whole readership thing went up.
Yes.
And since it was a decently priced book, it was fiction, they found the blurb interesting. Suddenly, my Amazon sales just started converting. And especially when that sale happened, that August make sale hui thi, what do you call it? The Great Indian Festival sale or something. No, Great Indian Festival was in October. This was Independence Freedom Day sale.
Freedom Day.
In August, oh my God, the book just skyrocketed in terms of sales. I sold 230 books in one single day on one of the days. And I was like, what's happening? How is this going? And then, somehow organically it picked up, it stayed there, and then it was selling. By the end of December, I was approached by multiple publishers because everyone was seeing that, okay, this book is doing well. Right. They were happy that the author has a decent profile. They wanted to acquire me. But eventually things worked out with Penguin. I really liked the team there. My editor was very supportive. She loved the book so much that she was willing to pick up 3 books at a time. So it was like a dream deal, dream publisher coming in at a time. And I was very happy. So the whole thing had happened in December. And obviously the official announcements and everything, they happened in January once everything was structured. The book was, with little bit changes. So there was a question mark. We removed that after the Penguin thing. And we have this cute, nice logo that I wanted all my life here.
Oh, yes. Their team is... I think they are listening right now. We shouldn't praise them too much, but it's a dynamic team. In a very short manner, I would really appreciate them for the. In fact, you talk about this on your first book also. They have a very entrepreneurial mindset.
Yes.
And just like you, it is required to pull off something like that. So congratulations on to you and the publisher. You on page 70, and I'm taking you through the book a little bit. I don't know if you have reread it or not, but
I have.
Okay.
I have.
Okay, so you mentioned on page 70, a biography gets boring. A travel memoir seems fun. A love story upsets. I decided to read some inspirational stuff. It's a very small thing that you have mentioned here, but I
Hmm.
wanted to know about your reading preferences because you have mentioned it here. So I don't know if it is the same as yours, but I wanted
Okay.
to know about it.
No, so in this case, I would say that my character is a little different here.
Okay.
I honestly love reading about people who've done things on their own, especially if they are entrepreneurs.
Okay.
I'm not a very much into celebrity books reading kind of a thing personally, but I love it when people tell me that they built an empire out of the scratch. I want to know what did they do.
Yeah.
So that is where a biography or something of that sort gets very interesting. I still remember reading um what's wrong with me, why am I forgetting the name, Richard Branson's
Yeah. Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
Long back
Okay.
read a couple of pages because it was recommended by a friend. I felt so much fuel from the inside. I'm like, wow, this guy has thirst for adventure, this guy has thirst for life.
Yeah.
Why does people around me don't have the same? So it's not that. Personally, I do love biography. In her case, Alara is a millennial again, and Alara would be a little younger to me.
Yeah.
Where I am right now at a place, Alara is in her early 20s.
Early 20s.
Right. So I think that age people, when I speak to them, they always tell me that, this is a particular kind of book that they like, or this is the particular kind of thing that they want to read. So I think that's a reason why I changed it from my personal thing, because I thought that, okay, if this aligns with the interest of people right now,
Yeah.
then let's go ahead with it.
So, a word for the readers, of course, there is a lot of market research, before you are writing also. Like Stuti mentioned that, she picked up from the young readers or friends that you have. And so you need to align yourself with that also, what's going on. It's not just about self-indulging behavior while writing. You need to worry about the market and, of course, who is going to read your book. So yeah,
Yes.
that's pretty impressive that you took up that, because a lot of writers I feel are too self-indulgent. Don't kill me, guys. Don't kill me. But
You're talking all nice things about me, so I won't kill you. I don't know about the audience, but
no, there might be other writers who might kill me. That's what I'm worried about. But I mean, you talk and I thought it was kind of overbearing for
hmm.
me in the book, one thing, but I wanted to know from you, why did you
Right.
do it? Why did you do it? So you have talked about a lot of brands in the book, and
Okay.
I know brands are a part of millennials' lives. uh,
Yes.
why that? Was it, I don't know, I mean, beyond the point, I thought, why is it happening? So that's my question.
Okay. Okay. Uh, that's a very nice question. I've always wanted to address it on where I go on record and talk about it,
Okay.
because I got a lot of DMs after my first book as well. That, Suti, you've mentioned so many startups. There is some specific reason. Do these guys pay money? Like, are you getting something
Oh,
out of
I didn't
it?
think about that. Can you do that? Can you do that?
I don't
Not
know,
a
but
bad
I didn't
idea.
get money. See,
Not a
personally,
bad
I
idea.
didn't get any money, to be very honest. I just did it because I feel that, gonna. So, let me just give you a analogy, okay?
Okay.
So, there's this series which is very famous. I'm not sure if you watched it, but it's called Sex and the City. It was by Darren Star. And there, the character, she ends up taking a lot of New York cabs, because New York cabs, yellow cabs in the
Yes.
90s was a thing, right?
Yes.
Now, when I think about right now in the contemporary, scenario, again, neither Uber nor Ola is paying me anything, but
They
you
should.
know,
They should.
they have become a part of my lives, because
True.
of our lives. Now, people generally are booking things through app. They are not really going and looking for a taxi.
Yeah.
So, just to get that whole sense of connection where they feel that the universe is contemporary, it is right now,
Yeah.
2021, 2020, and just to get that thing going, that's one of the reasons why I always keep it. I don't, go back from mentioning the brand. I do mention it just because
Yeah.
they have become a part of our lives. And I won't do it for any fashion brands or something. You would have seen it's mostly for utility things
Ah,
like a cab.
it's about like utility startups mostly. Like
Yes.
it would be an Oyo or something like that,
Yes.
Utter or stuff like that, which is in our
Yes.
lingo, by the way. By the way, we
Yes.
always talk like that. So I think, yeah, I got my answer.
Just to bring in that connection with the
Yeah, true,
readers, and they
true.
feel that this universe is contemporary or parallel to our own universe
Yeah,
while it's fiction. I
got it.
These are those
Yeah, yeah.
things that I mentioned.
Top three places in Goa you love to bits, and what do you write in Goa, or you can write anywhere? That was my penultimate question.
That's a very relevant question. Many people ask me. So I'll tell you, Rohan, my connection with Goa has been long. I've been going to Goa every year, staying at least 10-15 days every year in Goa. And it's mostly on Palolem beach,
Yeah,
which is in South Goa, in Kangkon. Kangkon is the southern district.
yeah,
And this is where the novel is also set,
of course.
if you see my book. And there's a specific reason. After going back there for so many years, I've met so many people who are locals, I've interacted. I sometimes feel that I want to get in a place where I don't want to belong to any one place. Like Airbnb says, belong anywhere, but
Yes.
I'm not endorsing Airbnb. So I really want to be everywhere and explore. And I'm not a tourist. I'm not someone who will make a checklist. These are the things to do. These are the things to watch. I'll go, I'll see. I want to go to a place. I want to experience it locally. I want to talk to local people. I want to eat what they eat. And I think I've done that in Goa for a long time. So that's one of the reasons while writing about Goa, I never felt away from home. Even if I was writing from a cafe in Delhi, I was there because I've had a very, very extensive experience traveling there. And it's not that I just write from Goa. The question that you just asked me, I do write from a lot of places. My place is not fixed.
Okay.
I don't know that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I am someone who keeps moving. I can't stay at one place for a very long time. You can't confine me,
Right.
Even if it's a cafe, 5 days I get bored, I move to another one.
Okay, got it.
Only one cafe I've been to very regularly is a particular place. It's because some convenience, some comfort, some circle I have. Otherwise, I just keep moving. So it's not that I write from any one place.
Okay.
And top three places that I would recommend anyone to visit when they go to Goa. Go to Palolem Beach, the one that I have mentioned in the book. And there's a place called the Sundowner. This is basically where two islands, they merge like this.
Okay.
And there's a point you walk up to there when it's a low tide. On high tide, you cannot walk because the water doesn't allow you to walk. When it's a low tide, you walk to that spot. There's a little, cafe kind of a thing over there. You want to eat, snack, something, you can do that. However, when you are on this point, you see a horizon on the other side. And it's so beautiful that after 8 o'clock, it starts and it's water. That's it. Nothing else you see. So one of the places where actually Ricky goes when he gets lost and Sheen brings him back is exactly the description of the place that I'm talking of. Go to the Sundowner in Palolem. That's number one. You have to go there. Otherwise, there's no any particular place that I would recommend. There's so many good places. I mean, Goa is just full of so many places that you can't pick up two places. It's very difficult. But this one place, it's magical.
Wonderful, wonderful. You have been mentioned on, and your bio says it, you have been mentioned on your story, entrepreneur, the Bhaskar, the works. How important is it for a writer to build a complete holistic profile at this point in time? Because it's difficult to sell books, and a lot of writers want to sell books. How important is that beyond writing?
I think it is important, but I would say more than, I'll be very honest here, more than any, I would say PR feature or any interview with a journalist and, things that go out on media, I don't say it's not important. If you're getting it, go ahead. All publicity is good publicity, but not really that you should run after. It might not create a huge impact on your sales. This has been my personal experience. So I've never been very, very pushy about PR. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, I really don't waste my time and energy there. Rather, I would say build a good community. I've always been a community oriented person. Build a community that cares for you. Build a community that you love. Build a community that you're proud of. Someday you can say, this is the community I built and this is our vision and this is what we are doing. So social media helps you with that. And in my case, personally, I have built a community. I call my readers SC family. They are my community. And whether they are on Insta or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, they are all SC family, and there's a sense of connectedness that we all have. So I think building that community who cares for each other, and it can never be a one-way relationship. I care for my readers. I reply to DMs. I do things for them.
Okay.
You, when it's a whole soul connection that people feel with the person,
Yeah.
they eventually buy into your idea. They love the fact that a person is out there caring. See, everybody needs to care for each other. I can't just say ki meri book khareed lo. There has to be some value
Yeah.
addition that has to happen in the person's life. Why would he? I mean, there are so many options. So as a young author, if somebody wants to do something, I would always say that social media helped me. And don't go for buying followers, fake followers, huge following.
Oh,
See,
goodness.
10 people who care about your product mean a lot more than 200 people who do not give a damn about your
Yes.
product. So build a curated community, make it organic, make it such that it pays you in the long run. Don't go for shorter goals, go for a longer goal, go for a longer vision, is what I say.
Yeah. Wow. You really gave some amazing advice at the end, because a lot of writers, and I talked to many of them, and
I know.
sometimes I feel like, why are you doing it, man? I mean, you don't need to do that. I mean, your product is amazing. Your book is amazing. You write well. It might take some time, but just be patient. Hang in there.
It will happen, it will happen. I think eventually आप कुछ भी कर लो,
Yeah.
in the end any book becomes big when someone recommends it to someone, which is the word of mouth.
True.
Whether it's in person or electronic word of mouth, somebody has to tell you, like, how many times did you buy a book because you saw an ad on Facebook or because you saw a banner on the road? Never, right? You might watch a series because there are a lot of Netflix and Prime banners you find these days in cities, but you might not really pick up a book. But when somebody calls you up and tells you on a 15-minute call that, hey buddy, how's it been, long time, what did you do? Oh, I read a book, it's so and so, and it just changed my life, or it did something to me. I mean, why would not somebody buy it? So people always buy books on recommendations.
Right.
The content will eventually sell if it's good. So always focus on content. It's 70% content, then 30% marketing.
True. A very quick word on the songs that you have written throughout the book. I completely forgot about it, but a very quick word on that. Do you have a musician in you? Because it felt like in some places, maybe you wanted to be a musician or something. Music is a very integral part of this book.
Book.
After all.
I always tell people that, creative people are many souls trapped into one,
Hmm.
or they have a MPD. I don't know. Is it a multiple personality disorder, or is it like many souls trapped into one? I think I have wanted to be a singer at some point in my life. I wanted to be a dancer at some point in my life. I wanted to be a writer, and all these things I'm good at. Like, I'm good at singing, decently good at dancing. I am good. So,
You are going into a very wrong territory. Just might ask you to sing for
oh
everyone.
my God.
Okay, so I get it. Like, you are a creative person, and writing is just one thing that you do, right? And there are other things also.
I mean, obviously, I picked it up as a profession because this is something that I feel the most about. This is something that I'm close to. You pick up one thing. There
Yeah,
can't be hundreds of passions. There has to be one passion.
of course.
But
Your favorite song from the book,
I
and
think I like the one where she says, "I wish to go back in time and meet you when you had not met her."
yeah.
That one.
Yes.
I'll just find it. But yeah, that one I really like because it talks about the fact, it talks about the feelings that many people go through uh, when they're in love with someone, but then, they can't really be with them. So I think it's one of the songs that talks about that. So I really like it.
Wonderful. Of course, we talked about a lot about this book. Guys, do check it out. It's very contemporary, especially people who are young at heart. I shouldn't mention any age, but I personally loved it. After the pandemic, it's a refreshing read. To be honest, I want to go to Goa this year now, and go to the places which Stuti has mentioned. A final word to all the readers out there who want to pick up this book, or perhaps the writers who want to write well, and yeah.
Thank you so much, Rohan. It was really a pleasure speaking with you. I think we had a very nice, candid conversation, and I am glad that you actually read between the lines.
To be honest, I loved it because I could relate. I think most people will relate to it. It's not just in hagiography that I am saying all of that, but a lot of people will relate to the book because you have all kinds of timelines in there. So
Yes.
I think so that should happen. A question from the readers for you: which character in the book most reflects your own personality?
So I just mentioned in the beginning of the live, Ricky is someone that I'm very close to, I would say, right now, where I've reached in my life. And yeah, I think Ricky resonates the most. Not 100%, I'm not a shack owner yet. I might be when I'm as old as Ricky.
I would love to be at your shack and perhaps reading books.
I'll just name it after Ricky, na? Ricky's Beach Shack, like how it is there
Why
in the
not?
book.
Why
And
not?
I will run
Why
it.
not? Why not? I mean, that's a brilliant idea. You already know a lot about entrepreneurship, so why not? I think that should come true very soon. Congratulations again
Thank you.
on the book deal that you have gotten. You have
Thank
announced
you.
it. You have announced it recently. Guys, do check out her blog. Also, she writes brilliantly, and also, especially the book. Do pick it up from Amazon. Leave a review. Stuti is always accessible on all social media handles.
Instagram, Facebook, especially, I'm always there. And if you have any queries, anything you want to talk to me, I reply to DMs.
Yeah. So you can go to stutichangle.com also. That's
Yes, yes.
yeah. So it's weird that I know so much about her. It's very weird. So don't read too much into it. I stalk a lot of authors, so it's just that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Stuti, and thank you, Penguin India, for doing allowing us to do this. It
Thank you, Penguin India. Especially, I want to thank Penguin India for this
who's
collab.
the editor? Shout out to the editor, please.
Yeah, thank you, Roshini. And thank you, Shrishti from Penguin team for aligning this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Take care. We'll be back with another awesome author very soon. Perhaps Stuti also, maybe next year or maybe before that. I don't know how prolific she can be. So thank you so much. For more book related content, you can always go to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at the Booknerds. Thank you so much and great chatting with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye bye.